Okay, we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everybody is doing good. Wanted to come back on tonight and just cover some things, just a few extra things that I was able to review pertaining to the Makhia Bryant case and situation that's going on right now. And what's up, brother boss? Blake is in the house. And we've got Sherry Manning in the house. Welcome. Was able to go over some additional information pertaining to the police body cam video footage. Ronnie, how you doing? Hope everyone is having a good evening. Yes, likewise. And was able to view some parts of the police video cam and was able to look into it from a different perspective. So I wanted to share those thoughts with you tonight and have you come on. Actually, I'm going to be dropping the link in the chat. And if you'd like to share your thoughts as to your perception as to what you saw in the video, making your comments known, definitely feel free to jump up on the panel. I'm not going to have a big multi-faced panel. I like to talk with people one at a time to get their input, and we'll be able to discuss and share with each other some of the things that we observed, some of the things that we've read, and some of the things that we've come across in our investigation so far pertaining to Makhia Bryant's death. Real Brooklyn, Anthony McNeil, Beverly Palmer, Lady T, T-shirts and design. Long time no see. Good to have you with us. So we'll go over that, and then I'm going to share with you some things first to get things rolling so that we can begin to take a look at things to come. So hopefully everybody's doing good, and I got a good sound check on my microphone, so we'll do a sound check first. Type a 1 in the chat. Type a 1 in the chat if I'm coming in loud and clear. All right, we got some folks up in the house. Okay, Carla Mullen, welcome. Now we got brother boss Blake. Wow, okay, we got some ones. Okay, yeah, and then we'll open it up for open discussion. And I'm not going to put anybody on a time. I like to keep things within a reasonable time fashion, that is, and not be up here too long. I've got other things I've got to get to, but I wanted to come back and share with you some thoughts so far as to what we've been able to gather in regards to the shooting that took place last week in Columbus, Ohio, concerning a 16-year-old by the name of Makhia Bryant. Welcome everybody. So let me just get a couple of things adjusted here. I'm going to do a little screen share. We're going to go over little parts of some information, and then I'll go ahead and drop the link into the chat room. And I want to hear from everybody. I want to hear from all of you who are taking the time out to join this live. This live is for you. This is your live to share your thoughts. And I agree, Lady Tia, everyone, let's look at all sides of this situation. All opinions are welcome. Definitely. And as a good housekeeping rule, we want to let everybody know this is a drama-free channel, drama-free chat. But you are, entitled to voice your opinion, your perceptions, things you feel are important, things you feel may not be important as well. So let's see if I can get a couple of adjustments going on here. Yeah. I did a live on Sunday, and we've covered as much of the information that we were able to obtain so far pertaining to last week's shooting with you and the last live. And the last live, it was called A View to a Kill. And I titled it that way because that's what it appeared to me to be. Things happen and evolve so quickly in that situation. It was mind-blowing to even just sit there and actually witness that kind of an incident happening to a teenager. And so I said, well, it would only be fair for me to come back tonight and open the panel up. Let's have a discussion about that information and see where things may be looking at going forward. So with that said, we got mods in the house. Let's see. Well, we got Leah Tia is a mod. Thank you, Lady Tia. Brother Boss Blake is in the house. Thank you, brother, for stopping by and joining us. I enjoyed your live last night, Brother Boss Blake. The sound beats you play, man, and the stories through those beats that you tell, my goodness. Solid, bro. Solid. Hopefully we'll have you and maybe Lady Tia come up. And like I said, this chat tonight is for you. Hopefully Carla will come up and share some thoughts. Real Brooklyn, you too. All right. So with that said, let's get into it. Let us get into it. Just getting things set up here. Okay, so we have my screen. Just give me a second, folks. Thank you, Brother Boss Blake, for sending me that file too, because that's what we're going to be discussing tonight, is that particular file. I don't know if you guys can see this, so we're going to get right into it. The following video contains graphic images which some viewers may find disturbing. Let me see if I can. I meant to do this earlier. Because I always like to put up a disclaimer on everything, but we'll just play it by ear. We'll just play it by ear. We will be using information researched from the internet, both on YouTube and the internet. And I'm putting a verbal disclaimer out that the material, videos, and information set forth in tonight's live is for educational purposes, criticism, etc. And no copyright infringement is intended. Now, I said my disclaimer. I think we can get it going. So what we're going to do first is, obviously, I want to go over the 911 calls. I want to also go over part of the actual incident that occurred. I will be stopping it to the point where it shows the shooting. And then we'll go from there and cover some additional information about it. Okay. All right. All right. So got a good sound check. Hopefully everything works out.
Where is your emergency? Is there an apartment number letter? What's going on?
Come on here. This, the
Hey,
address
you can talk to me.
is 3171. We got these grown girls over here trying to fight us, trying to stop us, trying to put our hands on our grandma's dinner now.
Have you seen any weapons? Ma'am, do you see any weapons?
We need a police officer here now.
Do you see any weapons?
Officer now.
Ma'am, do you see any weapons?
What's the address of your emergency?
It's on Leeson Lane.
What's the emergency there?
Oh, well, never mind. The police are already out here. Never mind. Thank you.
Okay, so the 911 calls came in, and as you heard, there is a lot of commotion going on in the background in the 911 call. But yet the 911 call itself tells a lot about what this police officer knows before he gets to this scene right here before you. Knows that there's a situation there, and according to the caller, there is a possible lethal situation where there's a potential weapon that may be involved with a relative, concerning a relative. She did mention her grandma. Someone's going to stab them, et cetera, et cetera. So in his mind now, approaching this scene, he is on alert, obviously, as all officers are whenever they confront a situation like this. And this situation for him is called the unknown. And we're looking at it from his perspective. As he approaches this scene, I want you to watch carefully as to how this unfolds in his eyes and certain reasons why he responded the way he did. So let's go.
What's going on? Hey, what's going on? Hey, get down! Get down! Get down!
Okay. I wanted to stop it there. That's how fast this unfolded. In a matter of seconds. And we all know what happened at this point in the video. And unfortunately, a life was lost. Makhia Bryant's life. But I looked at this again late last night and earlier today, and I had picked up some pieces of information that are critically important. Critically important. There were two major mistakes, big ones, that were made in this incident. Two huge mistakes. Obviously, we know that the gentleman in the gray hoodie and jeans happens to be Makhia Bryant's father, which is also present and involved in an assault. And I kept asking myself, how could this have been prevented? That's all I kept saying. How could this have been stopped before we got to this point? And then I began to look hard at this video surveillance footage, the police officer's body cam. And then I said there were two solid opportunities. Two solid opportunities to prevent this. We know the father, who you see before you, was involved in an assault. We know the police officer drew his gun and is now prepared to stop the second assault. There was a total of 3 assaults involved. One when Makhia came out of that driveway and attacked this first girl here. 2 when she turned around and went back after her, nearly tripping over her. The father coming in and then assaulting this same girl. And then Makhia swung around past the police officer and then began her assault on the young woman in pink up against the car, as we see here. So we've got a multiple assault situation going on. No doubt. No doubt. And I wanted to know what could have prevented this from happening. And then the answer began to unfold. Okay. Miss Smith, welcome. G Money is in the house. Welcome. Oh, you're driving and listening. Oh, okay. Cool. Josh Star. I think you were on another channel's panel recently talking about a different case. But welcome, Josh Star. Okay. And so what could have prevented this from happening? Any thoughts? Let's go from there. Any thoughts? What could have prevented this situation from happening? I'll give you all just a moment before we continue because, like I said, tonight's live is yours. But just as a quick note, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? And then you can come up on the panel and then explain why you believe your thoughts. Boss Blake says her staying in the house after the 911 call came in. Yes, I agree. I totally agree. Lady Tia says the community could have basically prevented this. The dad could have went over and got a handle on his daughter. Ronnie said that. Okay, Ronnie, I agree. The person that called in, she should have stayed in the house until they got there. Yes, Carla. Real Brooklyn says a warning shot in the air. Okay. And Miss Smith says, Lady Tia, that's what I was gonna type. Adult intervention. Yes. Yes, Peggy Moore is in the house. Dad should have removed her. Very good. Lady Tia says, I believe someone made her come outside. I believe that too, because things unfolded quite fast once they were all outside. And I was beginning to think during that 911 call, were these girls in the house? Was that phone call made inside the house or outside the house? It was one of the main questions that went through my mind. Were they outside already? Or were they physically inside that house? They had to be physically inside the house because the idea of housekeeping came into play. and that the beds weren't made and the house was dirty. So I said, okay, so a lot of what took place started from inside the house. Would you agree? And whatever was said and whatever altercation happened there, it was at least enough to trigger one of the young sisters to actually make the 911 call. Okay, G Money gives me a thumbs up on that. Yes, I think the call was inside, and if someone pressured her to go out and fight a whole mob of people. Yes, Lady Tia. What kind of an altercation happened inside that house? Was there a physical fight between 1, 2, or even 3 of the people that were there? And Makhia felt overwhelmingly threatened, life threatened at that time? People don't become enraged without a reason. And she had to have felt that there was a severe, serious threat going on, enough for her to go get a knife. Did one of the girls have a knife? Do they carry knives? Did they carry knives or some other type of weapon that posed a threat to Makhia? You'd have to think about that. Because if someone threatens you with lethal force, what are you going to do? Let's obviously defend yourself, but what are you going to do? You're going to find something that's going to help protect you, I would say, right? I believe it was an argument, then it turned into a fight, and then everything just escalated. Real Brooklyn, I agree. Bertha, HB, welcome. I think the cop could have shot both girls and the person that was in the car with his reaction. They should have known or knew it was a foster home also with kids with problems. It was the foster mom's bio kids versus her. Remember, she's 16. She is fighting a 28 or 29-year-old woman. A 16 doesn't think like you or I. She's angry. That's right, Lady Tia. She didn't feel safe. She went into full self-defense mode. And it began in a way and unfolded in a way to where I said to myself, if she went that far to get a knife, then somebody else had a weapon too. And being outnumbered, you got to try to equalize that threat of force as best as you can. When you're outnumbered, you begin to think in wide scope how to protect yourself. Why not use his taser, Dark and Lovely? Dark and Lovely, welcome. Why not use his taser? And that's a very good question. And you can come up tonight. All of you can share your thoughts tonight on an open discussion so that we can all get more clarity as to why this situation occurred and how it could have been prevented. How it could have been prevented. Okay. I'll be dropping the link, Boss Blake. I just wanted to just cover this part first. So yeah, we have a very volatile situation here, and it's sad the way things turned out, obviously, but I believe that there were two major mistakes that were made. Two major mistakes. So with that said, let me just do this real quick. Come back to my And it hurts me to even think about it. Leave that here like that. Oh. And so what I'm going to do is, let's see if I can do this real quick. Let me find it first. I want to welcome everybody that's just joining us in tonight's live. Vanessa Jones, welcome. Okay. All right, let me go back here. Just bear with me, folks. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, so let me just do this. I'm going to be dropping the link in here so we can get things rolling. And if you'd like to come up, please feel free. It is your live tonight. I'd love to hear what you have to say. We are discussing the shooting of Makhia Bryant, age 16, out of Columbus, Ohio, last Tuesday. And we're looking at certain things regarding this video cam surveillance footage. We're looking at the people that were involved being there at that location, trying to get a handle on the reasons why they were there, what made this confrontation unfold the way it did. Could there have been anything to prevent this from happening? And we are going to go here. Could there have been anything that could have prevented this from happening?
Well, good evening, John Q.
Lady Tia.
And chat
Welcome.
and everyone out there. I wanted to come up quickly because I want to get back and maintain the chat. But I do think that it was a lot of things that could have prevented this. I know we all want to jump on a police officer, especially under the circumstances when it comes to police and the Black community. When it comes to prevention, that's when I was talking about the community and the adults around. Um, One of the preventions that could have happened is why are the community around watching this and not getting a handle on these girls? That was one of the things that was an issue because once the police got called, it was out of everybody's hand, out of the adults' hands. It was about out of the community's hand at that point. And also another prevention is because there's a lot of background that I had looked at on another channel. Miss Paris Milan, she had did her due diligence on the story to try to get some backstory on what was really going on. This home was a foster home where the foster mom had her bio children living there and her foster kids. Apparently, Makhia had been running away from that place. She had been getting a lot of fights with the family members in the house. So it was when it comes to another prevention, why wasn't she placed in another home when she had reports? Even the neighbors were saying the police was coming to that house a lot because of domestic violence or things like that. That basically had a lot to do with the kids there. So that was another prevention. When do they start displacing these kids? And I understand that the system is very backed up, and it's a lot of kids are looking for placement, but this young lady was definitely having a hard time in that house. So it comes off as if she was being bullied in the house, and when people have foster kids and they have their bio kids in the house, it's kids could be horrible to each other. And all it takes is some arguments and it can get very hostile to, that's my mom, and you don't have your parents. They don't even want you. Just little stuff like that can anger a foster child. And she's 16. Also, I found out that the foster mom children, some of her children are adults, which comes into play with the 28-year-old. They were, I think this young, the daughter that is the 28-year-old has her own place, and apparently her and Makhia them had got into an argument the day before, or I think it was about cleaning the kitchen or cleaning the house, and that's what started things. But the foster mom knew that it had got hostile the day before, so when I don't know if her mom called her daughter and those girls over or not, but the mom was aware that there was some animosity once again in that house with her children and Makhia, and she could have diffused this.
Right.
So
It was also said too that those older females were there in regards to the foster mother's birthday, and they went over there to, I guess, celebrate with her. That information came out, which gave them I guess their reason for actually being there. They show up, the house is a mess. We're here to celebrate mom's birthday and stuff like that. What's going on here? Why aren't y'all cleaning up the house? And I could see something coming up maybe out of that.
Right. And you also made the point, and that I had the question as well. If she called if Makhia or her sister called the police inside of the house, which means that they felt like something was going on or escalating, for them to call the police, I was just wondering, why would she go outside at all, whether she got the knife from inside or someone gave it to her outside. It just doesn't make sense for her to come outside unless somebody antagonized her to go outside, because back in the days we had, I know we all in different eras, but back in the days when somebody come to fight, your family member be like, and you better go out there and whip her behind. You better not come back in here, with your behind whip, you're gonna have to deal with me. But we are in different times. It's not like that anymore. Somebody come up to my house, now you on my property. We ain't going out to fight. Now you in danger because you came to my home. But I understand that it was family members that came to the home. But if this was the foster mom's birthday, when stuff started to get chaotic, there's some way she should have been able to handle that. And she already knew there was some animosity between the girls, regardless of the house being not clean. Well, if that's the case, you grown women could have came and cleaned your mama's house if you felt like it needed to be a certain way. That's another way this could have been prevented. I mean, you jumping on everybody in the house because you wanted to be a certain standard. Why didn't you come over and make sure everything was okay? But I think something happened with her coming out that door after calling the police, because it seems like if you call the police, you are in fear. Why would you go out to where you are calling the police for?
And like you said too, if the foster mother knew that these girls didn't get along from a previous argument they may have had, either outside or inside the house or at a different time, and these older girls spoke to the foster mother in regards to coming over and celebrating her birthday with her, whether it was a surprise or not, I believe that you're right. She could have mentioned to the older girls beforehand not to do that. Wait until she got there to begin any kind of celebration on her birthday and everything, and that could have possibly prevented the clash between the older girls and Makhia at that time. Knowing beforehand that. These girls just didn't get along, so she could verbally give some kind of a suggestion to separate them by just saying, hey, before you get to the house, what time you coming over? Oh, okay. well, why don't you all wait till I get out of work, and then we can meet up.
Right. And I got one more thing before I jump off. And with the
Yeah.
police officer, they are trained. They are trained to shoot and kill. They are not trained to shoot warning shots. Yes, I agree about the taser, but from what, like you said, from the from that police perspective of hearing that it's a fight and there's weapons, he was already on the alert that there's a weapon out there. And soon as he get out the car, he sees somebody with a weapon. And unfortunately, if the police officer wouldn't have came when he came, Makhia would have stabbed that girl because she definitely was in a position, and who knows what could have happened to the girl. So it's a all around bad situation. But once the police was called and they got a little bit of description of what was going on at the house, the police is going to they're going to shoot to kill, especially if because that officer could feel like he was saving the girl in the pink's life, and that's probably all he was thinking about. So I just want to put a few things out there, but I'm gonna go back in the chat. Hey, Boss Blake. I'm going back in the chat. Okay. All right, I'll be in the chat.
All right, thank you, Miss Lady Tia, for your insights, for your thoughts about this case, because everybody's looking at it from a different perspective, and perception plays a very important part in what we see, what we hear, how we feel, and then what we understand. So thank you, Miss Lady Tia, for jumping on board, and thank you for moderating tonight.
Oh, of course.
All right, Brother Boss Blake. Welcome, brother. Thank you so much for last night's live on your channel. You do a phenomenal job. I know you went a little overtime too, but anytime we can get some extra time with you is always good.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it most definitely. I'm glad you actually came through and spoke, because the people really enjoyed your commentary, your ideas, and your opinion. It was greatly valued, so I appreciate you too.
Right. So tonight we want to share our thoughts about what you believe from what you've been able to gather. What could have prevented this from happening? Did you see any mistakes here in this?
Well, actually, when you was playing, I was driving, so I wasn't watching. I was listening, so I might have missed what you showed. But I definitely want to just first go back to your live that you did. I can't remember, a few days ago about this case. Going back to the call that I think it was the little sister that made it. She made a statement, or it might have been her just venting on social media. I can't remember what it was, but she said that those young ladies, or those grown ladies, I should say, they've been bothering her for a few days. I don't know how true that is. And that could have been part of her rage as well. I can't confirm that that's true, but one thing I would like to see, if they were harassing her in that same area, I would like to see the neighbors' footage from those days that they claimed that happened, for one. For two, I believe she came out the house. Now, I don't know how long the father was there by the time she came outside. But have you ever, well, anybody in this chat may have went through this as a kid. You get into a fight, or about to get into a fight with someone, or somebody's about to jump you, and you call your big brother. You don't come out that house until your big brother come out, and that's when you act all tough and bad. So my assumption on why she came outside the house is because she now knew her dad was outside. And now it's time for me to show out and let my dad know that I ain't nothing to play with. That's my assumption on why she came outside.
Right. And do you think in any way, shape, or form there was at any point during this confrontation that this could have been prevented?
Most definitely. I mean, like I said in the chat, if you're going to go inside and call 911, obviously you need some help. So when you call 911, or if you call anyone, you wait till your help arrive. I just didn't understand when she came outside, and I know she seen the cop there. I know we're talking about a 16-year-old, John, but at the same time, the cop is there. There's no need for you to react the way you did. So the first mistake, I believe, on her behalf was coming out the house and then reacting the way she did when she knows the cops there. Now, when it comes to age, I'm pretty sure she is aware of what our people have been dealing with since she's been alive, especially in the past 2 years. So what did she expect to happen if she attacked someone with a knife? Did she think they were going to let her stab this young lady? Of course not. So the preventive, that's a couple of preventive measures that she could have made. But of course, this could have been deaded by the adults, period. What is you arguing with a 16-year-old for? Stop it. I'll be honest with you, John, and I know y'all said it might be kin to the foster parent, but they should go to jail. Not for murder, but at least assaulting, because we didn't see that part, and I know that, but obviously it was said they were bothering this young lady. They're really the reason why she died.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's sad all the way around to have seen what had unfolded last week, Tuesday, in regards to the situation, and that question, was on my mind, and I pondered it, and I said, in what way, shape, or form could this have been prevented? If the foster care mother was responsible for her safety, health, and well-being while she was there, with her in her home, and knew previous to this that, she had taken care of older foster kids in the same way and in the same light. And then knowing too that these girls didn't get along too well. I believe, with the communications that they may have had with each other at that point, she could have perhaps informed these older girls not to go to the house until she was there, knowing that it could possibly lead to a confrontation.
True. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So it just stands to reason as to, what could have prevented this. And I'm sure that the CBI Criminal Investigation Bureau that's looking at this and that's keeping everything under wraps until they find out all the facts as to how this thing unfolded, is looking at these same parts and pieces that connected, that led up to the shooting of Makhia Bryant. And the information is going to come out. I know it.
Most definitely. Now, I wonder, when she went in the house to call 911, and this doesn't really matter, but I wonder if she said, I'm going to call the police. If she did make that statement, those young ladies was bold enough to stay there, especially if it's true that they was assaulting or harassing her. So obviously they didn't care about her calling the police because they stayed.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But in looking at that, I wanted to, also share, if I could, and I'm just trying to get a handle on this. There's one thing about this stuff. You always have something new to learn about StreamYard and multitasking with different devices and everything, but you're an expert on multitasking and different devices because you're a sound and music engineer. So
you got it, man. I just want to read a comment in your chat too. It's from Vanessa Jones. She could have been so upset that she blanks out in her mind. She probably did not see the cop. When you're upset, nobody can't control you because you're angry. And that comes to a point where we talk about thinking logically and thinking emotionally. I don't think I've ever blacked out or got angry to the point where I blacked out. So I can't speak on that. But at the same time, if I'm angry enough, I want to fight. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. But at the same time, you still have to be thinking logically, because If you want to go into a fight that you're so angry, let's say the cops are not there, but you're fighting somebody who homies are right there with guns. Are you really gonna blank out and still attack them? I don't really think so. Look like we lost the host. John, you there? I was almost finna crank up some music thinking I'm at my own live. But we're gonna wait on John. I'm gonna try calling him on his cell phone. Yeah, John said he got disconnected, so he'll be back momentarily. I'm just gonna look at some of the comments in the chat. All right, Lady Tia say they were troubled young ladies as well. Yeah, and it originally started back, just like John stated in his previous live, with the mother and the father, the bio mother and the bio father. Obviously, either they couldn't control her or they just wasn't good parents. And that's just an assumption. So don't take that like I'm telling y'all that's what it is, because I don't know. But at the same time, it's like, why she with her foster parents? You know what I'm saying? When she have a mother and a father with able bodies to take care of a kid. Now, able minds, that's a different story. I'm not sure. What's going on, Jennifer? Truth be told, what's going on? Vanessa, I don't think I ever got that angry where I blacked out. I don't even know what it is to black out. I've got angry where I seen red where I want to hurt somebody, but at the same time, I'm still thinking with logic, because in the art of war, you have to think with logic. And I know she's nothing but 16, so I can't speak for her. But yeah, some people have those attitudes. John, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, take over, bro.
All right. So, well, boss, thanks for holding it down. When you're dealing with technology, sometimes, things just work perfectly. You know what I mean? But thanks for holding the fort down, Brother Boss Blake. I know you're covering the information on your channel. For those of you who are not subscribed to Brother Boss Blake, definitely subscribe to his channel. He's covering a lot of great information on Ahmaud Arbery. He's been following that case carefully, as well as Makhia Bryant. He had some information on his channel last night regarding some upcoming cases that are coming back, folks. The George Floyd case is not over.
Hey, also, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all that's in here heard about what it is, Andrew Brown Jr. Man, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. That's going to be very interesting to see what that body cam reveals. Very interesting. All right, so I'm going to drop the link again. We got to get some people up here. Come on, people. Come on. Tonight is your night.
Hey, y'all come up. I ain't going to stay up here long. Just want to support my brother like he support me.
Hey, that's what we're supposed to do. That way, when we work together, things happen together, and we get to learn some things about one another while we're here on planet Earth. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
All right. So with that said, let me see if I can copy and paste this in here again for those that want to come up and share their thoughts in regards to the Makhia Bryant case. This is your night. I want to hear from everyone. I'm going to take my time tonight. There's no rush for me to get on and get off. I do have a timetable, though. I wanted to, spend at least a couple hours just getting your thoughts and insights on this, because everyone's viewpoint is important. All right, Miss V, now you're on my channel. Welcome.
How you doing, John Q?
I'm doing very well, very well. I'm glad you can join us.
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, I set my reminder trying to catch your show.
Oh, great. I'm glad you subscribe and had the bell hooked up. Yeah.
Well, I have a couple points. So I actually, when you came on my channel, I was on the fence, and that was my first time hearing the story, right? So
Right.
I've had a chance to review things, and I looked at other cases similar. Number one, he did not have to shoot her 4 times. One time would have been enough.
I agree.
And I re-listened to the 911 calls, and also the when he first came on the scene. He never announced himself. He never said, "This is the police." He never said, "Drop your weapon." He just shot her. Only thing he said was, "Hey, hey, hey," and he told somebody to get out of the way. He never gave her a warning at all, and he could have been any bystander out there. When you are angry, you're not thinking logical, and you do black out and block out things that you might not notice. It looked like to me that she ran from the driveway. I don't know if she knew the police was out there or not. I don't know if he put up with sirens. I don't know if she was actually the one with the knife, or if the knife was she got it from somebody else. He really didn't have time to really assess it, but if he didn't have time, his reaction shouldn't have been to shoot her 4 damn times when he know that he didn't really assess the scene. And also I just uploaded a video of the 911 call and when he first arrived on the scene. And the other video I have is of her sister when she gave her explanation as to what happened. And people keep calling those women girls when she was really 28 or 29, the one in the pink, I do believe. These were grown women attacking her. And my other thought is, why were they even in foster care? How long have they been in foster care? I mean, she's 16. People don't usually go into foster care that late, I don't think, typically. So, do we even know what landed her there? Because her mother seemed to be detached to me. Like, she was way calm, and she seemed like she was talking about somebody that wasn't a child that she birthed.
Mm-hmm. And you bring up some very, very good points, because one of the major things that I came across, and I hope I'm coming in loud and clear to everyone.
Yeah, you are. Okay.
Thank you. I hope that everybody in the chat can hear. Anyway, you bring up a great major point, and that is one of the things that I believe that could have prevented this incident from occurring is that, yes, Miss V, you're right. When the police got there, he asked the girl in pink, "What's going on?" Then everything unfolded from that point. Makhia comes out of the driveway, attacks the first young woman there, knocks her down to the ground. most likely trying to avoid the knife because there was specific words that Makhia said. She said, and thank you, Brother Boss Blake, for sending me that video. And I'm going to play a piece of it tonight so everyone can hear it. I'm going to stab the F out of you, B.
Wait, who said that?
Makhia.
Okay, and I wanted to ask you, I have 2 videos that I wanted to play, if you don't mind, whenever we play them.
Right. Okay. Tonight is about sharing. So do you have that video? Is that the video that you have as well?
Well, the video I wanted to play is the sister, her explanation as to what happened, as well as the 911 call. And because it's my personal videos, you could go to my channel and play them, or either I could just play them from my phone. It probably would be better if you would just go to my channel and play the 2 that I'm talking about.
Right. Okay. All right. We can get there. But also you brought up a point in regards to the officer not giving Makhia a direct control command. When an officer comes to, I guess, a situation like that, a very high volatile situation where there's a life and death situation going on, and sees a gun or a knife or a bat or a chain or anyone welding a weapon in their hand, the first thing that a cop mentions is to put the weapon down, put the knife down, drop the gun. In this case, this police officer said, hey, get down, boom, 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 boom. That's exactly what I heard. So there was there was no direct command to unarm Makhia, as they all will verbally give you a direct control command to drop your weapon before they use lethal weapon. And I believe that this is a critical issue that's going to be brought up in this case once they go to court with it. And this is troubling because this police officer going on 15 months, 16 months this month, he would have been on street patrol, did not give her a direct command, which would have gotten her attention in time for her to say, "Oh, Sweat, the police are here. Let me drop my weapon," just before she lunged at the girl in pink. And I think the girl in pink's name, her first name is Tunia, and I'm going to be revealing that information as well tonight. But
in my opinion, he had a chance to stop her when she pushed the first girl down to the ground. He could have grabbed her at that point before she even got to the car. And
exactly.
and I posted other videos, like I said, of similar situations. And there was a kid, 13 or 14 years old. He was at a high school. Come to find out, he was being bullied by these kids. But he was out there swinging a big knife out there. And it was a whole crowd out. Anyway, the cop comes out. He tells him, drop the knife and all that kind of stuff. He gave him his warnings. He announced himself, and he shot the kid one time. He lived to see another day. He lost part of his lung, but he only got one shot, and he's alive. And he was threatening several lives.
Right.
So, there's better ways. And then there was another one where there was a white guy that comes out swinging a knife at 2 officers with billy clubs. There was another situation where they begged this guy to drop his weapon. So they pick and choose. I'm telling you, she didn't have to be shot 4 times.
I think that's the point. I think that's the point that a lot of us are making. So we try not to have tunnel vision and see things that the cops are doing, and what we do is tend to see what we can not do to avoid these situations. And that's what I believe Ms. V is saying. But in this case, a lot of people just seen that she was finna stab someone. So they say he had the right to, but there's several situations, just like you just brought up. I think you're talking about the same one I'm talking about, where the white guy, actually, it's the white guy, stabbed the cop in his neck, and they still tased him. They never pulled out a gun, and he was swinging a knife at them, and he actually stabbed one of them, and they still did not shoot him. So I think that's the point that a lot of people are trying to make.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if that's the same one, but absolutely. And nice to meet you, boss, by the way.
You too, Ms. V.
And if we can just take a moment, I'd like for you guys to mute up for a second. I'm going to play the video clip that Boss Blake has sent me in regards to this situation taken from across the street from one of the neighbors' cameras with great audio sound, so where we can not only see what's going on, we can actually hear what's going on at the same time. So this was a critical piece of great information that Boss Blake has sent me. I want you to listen carefully, because I'm going to play it a couple of times so that you can actually hear the commotion outside the home where this incident took place. Okay, so right here, you can actually hear. I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, John. I didn't mean to cut you off, but he could have grabbed her. Just like he said, he could have grabbed her at that point.
Yeah. And to hear for yourself now, the words coming from Makhia's mouth, right then and there, that police officer knew that there was a lethal threat going on, now with an assault, number one, and an assault with a deadly weapon. And yes, he should have grabbed her. The father standing right here, could have grabbed her as well to get her out of the way, separate them from this girl here, separating her from this girl here immediately upon hearing that. Because once the police officer did arrive, everyone here acknowledged the cops were there. I mean, his car is right here. There was no way that no one didn't see him pull up, get out of his car, approach that driveway, and have some kind of an acknowledgement. And that's when the attack took place. And so did Makhia see the police officer from that position where she was in that direction where the car is? I believe she did, but paid it no mind because she was in the heat of passion. Did Daddy, standing right there, see the police officer pull up, get out of his car, and approach that driveway? Answer, mine. Yes, I believe he did see the officer approach that driveway. The girl in pink saw it. The other female here saw that police officer there. This person's seen it. Well, excuse me. This person in the background, out of all this unfolding here. So I don't believe in no way, shape, or form in broad daylight, no one didn't see this officer pull up and approached and give some kind of an acknowledgement to say, okay, we're going to, finally get down to the bottom of this before, anything taking place. But I'm going back to what you said, Boss Blake. Yes, he should have grabbed her right there. He should have grabbed her right there. He should have stopped her and grabbed her right there. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. But thank you, Brother Boss Blake, for sending me that, because it's critical. It's absolutely critical that that would have been one of the areas that this situation could have been prevented. I'm still trying to get a handle on all this this button stuff going on here, but yeah, even the father could have grabbed her at that particular moment, because as loud as she screamed, "I'm going to stab the F out of you," you know what? Right then and there, he should have made a move to grab her to separate her from that girl, since the attack had already taken place. So I'm looking at points of prevention. But great comment, Boss Blake. And yes, Ms. V, great comment from you, because there are a lot of points of prevention here that that could have been identified and could have prevented this whole thing from happening. We wouldn't be sitting here talking about it.
One of the things of prevention, because I heard that 911 had been called to that home about 7 times. Like, where was the caseworkers checking in to see what was going on? I mean, and I seen in the comments where somebody said she had been at that home for like 5 months. So 911, I mean, I don't know. This is just stuff that I heard, like that 911 had been called like 7 times in 5 months. That's a lot. Like, who calls 911 that many times in a lifetime? So where the hell was the caseworker? So, you know.
Right. And just saying that also, I believe, putting some kind of attention on multiple phone calls going on, from even from the foster mother herself. She even made a call, regarding one of the children into a situation, knocking things off the Christmas tree and things of that nature. One of the children goes missing for a couple of days, then returns. So right then and there, that could have been identified to say, let's send a caseworker out there. Let's find out what's going on. Whether we should, change or modify any kind of arrangements we have at that house concerning these kids. I agree. If anyone else would like to come up on the panel, please do. 9mm, what's up? What's up? We got Fire Mama 411 in the house. I saw some people sneak up in here. Welcome, Vanessa Jones.
All right, John, I'm gonna go ahead and drop on down, man. Appreciate you for having me, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for jumping on up here and sharing your thoughts and ideas in a critical case such as the one that took place last week concerning Makhia Bryant. And I will be following you and your channel carefully on the updates that you have coming up regarding Ahmaud Arbery, the George Floyd case, the Andrew Brown Jr. case, which is unfolding as we speak. Everyone is waiting with anticipation to see what this 20-second video surveillance camera footage is that was taken of the incident that happened to him. And it's just the matter of, the right people making the right decisions to get that information and make it public right now. But thanks so much, Brother Boss. Much love to you.
No doubt. Appreciate you, bro. And thanks to the young lady who subscribed. I think it's Jashar. I appreciate you. But I'm gone.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Subscribe. Brother Boss knows how to hold it down. Definitely. So I dropped the link in there one more time. Vanessa, if you'd like to come up, it'd be great to hear from you. Caller, if you'd like to come up. Josh Star, if you'd like to come up. Fire Mama 411, if you'd like to come up. 9mm, you always in my chat. You can come on up too. Mildred Wilkins, you can come up. Share your thoughts. Share your thoughts. I think we have Miss V coming back to us. Oh, my bad. Let me get you back in here, Miss V.
Yeah, my screen
Welcome back.
froze up on me. I'm like, what the heck? So, I did you
Oh,
want to play those videos?
don't feel bad. I got knocked off, and Brother Boss Blake took my channel.
Oh, I know you was gone for a minute. So, had you
Absolutely.
heard the video of the sister explaining the situation?
Yes, I played that in Sunday Nights Live.
Okay, and then it was another one, and you just played the 911 video and the body cam footage.
Yes. Hmm.
So, have you played any comparison videos?
Have I played any? I'm sorry, say again.
Like similar, like comparison videos, like similar situations where the cop, you know, could have reacted that way but didn't, or whatever. Similar situations, just to show
Compare
a
this
different point of view.
situation. Yeah, if I understand you correctly, comparing this particular incident with another incident or of the same
Right,
incident.
like how the cop reacted in a different situation. Like I was mentioning the high school kid that was swinging a knife and the cop only shot him once.
Oh no, I have not. 'Cause, and the reason I have not is because each situation is different. Response time, information, people, things of that nature, and every incident or situation that occurs is pretty much in its entirety, stands alone by itself because it's just so different to try to compare one to the other, response
I
time to
mean,
the other.
yeah, I really don't think so though, because in the situation that I'm talking about, it's the same thing. It actually, this kid was already swinging a knife when the police came on the scene, and it was a whole crowd of kids around him being threatened. So that's a very similar situation, and he didn't put 4 bullets in this kid. So
Yeah. Now that you mentioned the 4 bullets, um, I just found that to be in the spur of the moment quite excessive for a
yeah,
knife.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I found that if he shot once to throw her off balance, he would have felt it and most definitely understood the message there. But this guy's a marksman. He's in the United States National Guard. He's done some, paramilitary training there, and
Yeah, he definitely was a good shot.
yeah, definitely, and they're trained that way. They are
Yeah,
trained that way.
he probably could have shot the gun out or shot the knife out of her hand if he wanted to.
And the thing about, and yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. The thing about the 4 shots, and I'm getting a little feedback from you, Miss V. Okay, thank you. Yeah, now I can hear. The thing about the 4 shots is that he also endangered the girl in the pink at the same time taking a shot like that. Now, from the distance between the police officer, Makhia Bryant, and the girl in pink, I believe her name is Tania or Tanaya, was relatively close and close enough. My guesstimation of it would be anywhere between 10 to 12 feet in range of how he took that shot. So that's relatively close. You can't miss, number one, but yet by Makhia being directly in front of that girl and the girl being directly in front of her and the cop standing behind them 10 to 12 feet in direct proportion to the way they were standing, and to take 4 shots like that, he also endangered that girl in the pink, or that woman. I got to stop saying girl, in the pink as well. The bullet could have gone through Makhia's body and then hit her, so we would have had 2 people down in this situation. So I believe that there was some mistakes he made at this scene regarding this incident by not calling Makhia out and giving her direct command to drop that knife, number one, to disarm herself before before lethal force was used. You know. Go ahead, Miss V.
Yeah, I was sitting here fiddling with my phone because my screen was frozen again. I don't know what's going on. Are you still getting the feedback from me?
Now I'm not.
Oh, okay. I don't know
It's
what's
only when I
going on.
talk. It's only when I talk. I hear a little bit of feedback coming, my voice coming back from you. So.
But yeah, so that's my 2 cents that I already said. I don't have anything else to add. I just, that's just how I feel about the situation. And I
Right.
thank you for having me on, and great show. I'm gonna have to watch the replay because when I came up, I was just really coming in too. So
Right. But I'm glad that you were able to, jump in jump on the channel, jump in the chat, join us tonight, share your thoughts. You do great work over there on your channel. For those that do not know Ms. V, her channel is MTGV TV. You can put it in the YouTube search engine. It'll bring you to her channel. She's covering a lot of various different types of stories and current events on her channel, as well as this particular case. She recently did, I believe, some videos on DMX, as well as a variety of other different stories on her channel. Very good channel. Very good
thank you
channel.
so much, John Q, for the plug and the love. I really appreciate the compliments. And thank you to everybody in the chat that was commenting and talking to me. I see you. And we'll have to do this another day.
Most definitely. Most definitely. But I got my bell on you.
Huh?
I
What
said,
you
I
say?
have the bell. I got my bell on you. Every time you go, pop a video or go live, I try to jump over if I have the time, show you some love.
Okay, and nice meeting you, boss. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming up. All right. So I dropped the link in there again. This is your opportunity to share your thoughts as to, what you think about this situation. What could have prevented this situation? We've been pointing out a number of things regarding this. Let me see if I have something else I want to share. Brother Boss Blake did me a solid by, let's see if I can, I think I can do that. I think I can do that. While we await someone else who would like to join the panel in tonight's discussion, I was able to find this article regarding the multiple 911 calls to the foster home of Makhia Bryant in the last 6 months. And it was interesting to find this, and it's the same news, I believe, that has broadcasted the body surveillance video. And a lot of the information in this article pertains to how many times were calls made from the home regarding commotion, disturbances. Okay. Before Tuesday's fatal shooting, Makhia Bryant was living in a foster care home on Legion Lane for the last 5 months. Bryant was shot by Columbus police officer Nicholas Reardon on Tuesday. Body cam video appears to show Bryant attempting to stab a woman with a knife before Reardon shoots her. Tuesday was not the first time police were called to the home. The caller stated, "I want to leave this foster home. I want to leave this foster home." Bryant's 15-year-old sister, Janiyah, stated. Janiyah, who told dispatchers she lived there for over a year, called police on March 28th. "I got into a fight and I don't want to be here anymore," Janiyah told dispatchers. I'll just continue here. For those that may not be able to read what's on the screen, I try to take the liberty to dispatch this information myself. According to a report, the officers told Janiyah they do not set up new placement. The victim then became irate and stated if she does not get to leave, then she was going to kill someone in the home, according to the report. Janiyah was then transported to a children's hospital for psychological evaluation. That call comes less than a month before this week's fatal shooting. Makhia's mom, Paula, told 10 TV's Lacey Crisp Janiyah was there on Tuesday at the incident. Since November, there's been 7 911 calls from the home. Let's go over that information regarding those calls, because once again, we're looking at points of prevention here. On November 8th of 2020, the foster mother called because a 13-year-old ran away from the house. The child returned on November 11th. On December 9th, the next day, the foster mother called because her 10-year-old, now a 10, foster son was knocking things off the Christmas tree and yelling. A few hours later that day, she called back and asked the officers to come back and remove the child and take him to Nationwide Children's Outpatient. I wonder what the result of that was. On April 8th of 2021, now we get into this year, the foster mother called because a 13-year-old foster child, sounds like the one that ran away from before, 13-year-old foster child ran away but then returned. And the foster mother called again on April 15th, 2021, after someone shot a gun into her neighbor's home. So we've got some activity in and around this home and in the neighborhood. On April 17th, 2021, the foster mother called because her car was hit by a bullet. We reached out to Franklin County Children's Services, but they said that they could not comment on if the children are still in the home. And obviously, in this particular report, we get to see the actual video cam surveillance footage from the police officer. And I just found that very interesting. Another article, prevention. Calls for help. Calls for help, folks. These are calls for help, and no one reached back out. And there's no follow-up as to the outcome of the children, especially the one that was taken in for psychiatric or psychological evaluation, which I find very interesting. Hopefully we'll get some information on that. The Sun-Times has an article, recordings show chaos surrounding Makhia Bryant's shooting in Columbus. I found this article to be very interesting as well. Just take a look at the chat here. That's good that things are popping in the chat. A routine day in a quiet Columbus neighborhood was shattered instantly Tuesday when a police officer fired 4 shots at a 16-year-old Makhia Bryant. This article was posted on April 24th of 2021, 11:49 a.m. by Associated Press. See if we can find something in here. Okay. A chaotic 911 call. A convulsive 11 seconds of violence ending in the death of a Ohio teen. A historic verdict being broadcast in the police cruiser. A routine day in a quiet Columbus neighborhood was shattered instantly Tuesday when a police officer fired 4 shots at 16-year-old Makhia Bryant as she swung a knife at a young woman. "She's just a kid," a man shouts within seconds of Makhia's falling to the ground. Less than 30 minutes before the man charged with killing George Floyd was pronounced guilty, yet another Black person was dead at the hands of police in the United States. And in a city facing immense pressure to change its law enforcement patterns, once again on the defense. While the events leading up to the fatal 911 call that set the shooting in motion remains unclear, hours of official police footage and bystander videos detail how one of the country's latest deadly police shootings unfolded. At 4:32 p.m., a male dispatcher receives a call from a female caller. It remains unclear who called 911, but Bryant's family members told the Associated Press that she herself summoned law enforcement. All right. We got these grown girls over here trying to fight us, trying to stab us, trying to put their hands on our grandma, the caller says as the background filled with female voices screaming and arguing. "Get here now." Officer Nicholas Reardon, who's been on the force since December of 2019, was dispatched 3 minutes later. 2 other officers, Eric Channel and Serge Akpalo, followed shortly behind. "Hey, what's going on?" Reardon asked upon exiting his vehicle at 4:44 p.m. In those next 11 seconds, Bryant was seen charging a 20-year-old, and it looks like it says Shia Anta Lana Craig Watkins, with a kitchen knife, and then moving to 22-year-old Tiana Bonner. Before Reardon, he yelled, "Get down," and fired 4 consecutive shots into her chest. Okay, well, talk about accuracy. The teenager's body collapsed to the ground. So we have some kind of identification, at least on the 2 young women that were there. But they're stating that these 2 young women's ages are not as old as was told from previous reports. Bryant was seen charging a 20-year-old Shia Anta Lana Craig Watkins is the first girl's name, the first young woman's name that's posted here. And then 22-year-old Tiana Bonner. So there's some reports out there saying that she was much older than that, 28, 29, nearly 30 years old. So, and this is, once again, we have to pay careful attention on what the media puts out compared to what other reports about this case come out of, because it looks like there is definitely some differential information here. Get down and shot 4 consecutive shots into her chest when we know that she was shot in the back. Interesting. Very interesting. See if I can get this to scroll down a little bit. The teenager's body collapsed to the ground. While officers took turns rendering CPR, several neighbors filled the residents' streets. Others stood in the driveway and doorways, shaking their heads. Some had heard the gunfire from their backyards, while others were in the middle of unloading groceries from their cars. But almost every single witness that day stopped to film the aftermath of an incident they are now all too familiar with. the killing of another black person in America at the hands of law enforcement. Now, if anyone has got some different information regarding the two young women's names that they may have found through other reports, or maybe any other YouTube videos or information on Facebook or wherever they find this information on social media, definitely, if you're in my chat room, you can come on up and share that information to see if you've come up with anything different. Because we were told that these young women were much older who were involved in this incident. Much older. Media gets it wrong a lot, and it causes uproars. Yes, Lady Tia, they do. G Money, I thought she was almost 30. Yep. We all did. We all did. They sure did, Lady Tia. They should be investigated, I think, because they may not be the only home having issues. That's a very good point, Carla. 9mm says George Floyd was very messed up. Cops get on my nerves. JS, just saying. We are all one race. 9mm, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. And that's exactly what they linked to this particular story, unfortunately, and associating it to the George Floyd case. And we know what happened in the George Floyd case, and obviously racism popped up there. It's popping up in the Dante Wright case, white cop, black victim. And here we are with Makhia Bryant. White cop, black victim, the incident that happened with Ahmaud Arbery, the two gentlemen that chased him down that street, white individuals, black victim. The Andrew Brown Jr. case, I'm sure that that's going to pop up pretty much the same. So there seems to be a consistent pattern concerning these issues, these violent issues concerning cops and the public. We need to keep a very careful eye because there could be some kind of narrative, some kind of agenda that's focused on Black Americans in this country. And they know how sensitive we are when it comes to, one of us having an incident like this in their state. And it really tugs on the emotional strings. And as consistent and consecutive, they follow each other almost on a week-to-week basis, if not on an everyday basis, How and when they decide to release stories like this to the public is something else I'm keeping my eye on, because I'm starting to feel that they're channeling this information in a timely fashion to maybe get us to a point like they did with George Floyd concerning the protests and the riots that took place all of last year, almost directly into the month of December. Well, yes, Carla Mullins. Well, thank you for coming by. Thank you for the compliment. I subscribe to your channel. Well, thank you for that too. K Lovely, 25252. Hello to you. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. Our cops are being integrated for racism by attending Attorney General's office. It's like 5 years too late, but it's a start. I hear you, 9mm. And I believe that most certainly reform needs to take place. Better training needs to take place in regards to de-escalation. I always wondered why they came up with the idea of a taser. when there are other non-lethal weapons that they could use. Examples of that can be seen throughout all of last year when the protesters and the rioters came out onto the streets. What were they shooting? They were shooting pepper spray. They were shooting flashbangs. They were shooting rubber bullets. They were shooting pellet guns. They were coming up with a lot of different non-lethal weaponry all of last year. So I'm just trying to figure out why they decided for police to be armed with a taser. I think it's 25,000 volts or 20,000 volts or 50,000 volts or however many volts that they use for a one-shot stop in a situation where they may have multiple assaults and assailants to deal with. Whereas a pellet gun of some kind, non-lethal weapon could be used that could, let's just say, equal the task of a multi-assault situation, rather than rely on a one-stop weapon like a taser. Real Brooklyn, this case is already solved. He's going to be charged not guilty. In my opinion, the parents failed her. Why did the father kick the girl in the head? Also, why did the officer shoot her 4 times? And those were my questions too, Kay Lovely. The father could have stopped Makhia as soon as that girl, the first young woman, hit the ground. He was right there. He saw the cop standing right there. He could have grabbed her right there to prevent this thing from escalating any further. But no, he decided to do something entirely different. He decided to assault the same girl Makhia assaulted with a kick to the back of her head while she was on the ground. So here, this cop is standing there and says, "Oh, wait a minute, this street's getting lit. Let me grab my gun. Because I know the taser's not going to work, and I don't know if he's going to pull something out. If she's got a knife, what does he have?" This is all in 8 seconds, folks. This is all in 8 seconds. And I said in my last live, what are you going to do when you see multiple situations going on, highly volatile and lethal? Do you go for your taser? And I keep hearing people say, well, yeah, he should have went for the taser. He should have went for the taser. And you really have to take a look at putting yourself in that position for 8 seconds and say, what would you have done? What could you have done? But going back again to the 4 shots, I hold that under heavy contention, because I don't really think being 10 to 12 feet away from his target, he should have taken all 4 shots. Even though that might have been an automatic response from his training, he should have evaluated that situation to say, she's got a knife, she's going after this girl over here. Boom! Let me get her attention, throw her off guard. You couldn't miss her 10 to 12 feet away. And I think that would have been enough to throw her off balance, pushing her forward, but throwing her off balance to have her drop the knife now that she's been impacted by a gunshot. Even if it was 2 bullets, I think it would have most likely produced the same result. But these police officers in a volatile situation are trained, like John Wick. I mean, that's what it looked like I saw when this incident unfolded. Boom, 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 boom. Four shots. I think that's going to be challenged. The use of force is one thing, but the use of excessive force is another. Yeah, Miss V, 4 shots is excessive. And every time I look at that part, it always draws that question back to my mind. Why 4? But then again, you have to go back to their training. They are trained for this. And then you also have to figure out, okay, how do they evaluate using 4 shots in a knife situation? If Makhia was faced toward the police, coming at police, I get it. I get it. But when an individual has their back to police, where they can't see, it's all from a point of view from the police officer, armed police officer, and at their discretion, knowing that they're not being seen, at their discretion, control the situation. That needs to be looked at carefully. How they use lethal force, under what situations and circumstances do they escalate to excessive force? Great points, everyone. Great points. And that's why I wanted to do tonight's live, to have you, to get your points of view on this absolutely tragic situation. See if I can drop the link again, because I am very interested in your comments. You know, I don't want your fingers falling off on your computers or your cell phones or your tablets. It would be great to hear what you have to say about it. 9mm, yes, I do. I do have a Facebook page. It's under my name. But I don't visit Facebook very often. You know, if I had to do YouTube lives and videos and casework and research and things of that, I don't have time for Facebook. Only if I'm truly looking for information on a deeper level, then I may use Facebook from time to time, but I have my own resources whenever I do research. But if you have something you want to share with me, you can actually email me at johnq001@gmail.com. I'll even drop it in the chat so you can email me what you have, if you'd like to share anything. But that's what tonight's live is about. Maybe you can come up and give me a little bit of an idea as to, you know, what videos you may have, and share some of that, what resources you use. I've watched numerous body cam videos with white people who are aggressive with knives, even coming at cops with the knives, and they don't kill them. They talk the knife out of their hands. And I agree with you, G Money, and that's a great de-escalation. Let's see. De-escalation tool to try to, you know, disarm someone, you know. But when you have a situation that's unfolding, and in a matter of 8 seconds, you know, your brain is spinning as to, you know, what's the best move, what's the best remedy, what's the best solution for me to do here, because lives are in danger. This young officer of 16 months being on street patrol is a marksman trained by by the National Guard, and then joined the force and went into his police training, and obviously on the patrol unit. This guy's, to me, he's relatively young. If it had been another cop, maybe older in terms of employment, having more years than he did on the job, what would he have done or she have done? Would it have been different?
John, what
Hi,
is
lady.
what is? Hey, I'm back. I think Miss V play something about the sister calling out the girls and their ages?
Yeah, I think she had mentioned that it was I guess it was a video that was done on Facebook or Instagram that the younger sister, that might be Jania or Jania, Jania, who may have posted that video, trying to explain, emotionally explain, what was going on at the house that day.
And she said it was the day before that her sisters were into it with the girls.
Right. Inside the video, it also states that she said that, they did have a situation just the day before, and that they, I guess, came back over there the next day, the day that Makhia got shot, came back over there for, I guess, a continuation of some kind.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, when it comes to a marksman, does that mean that he is trained to shoot properly or accurately?
A marksman is trained to shoot accurately. Okay. The number of times is at their discretion, but a marksman, almost like a sniper, which has a higher level of training, where they're all trained for a one-stop shot situation. The better your accuracy, the less you have to use.
And wouldn't that be, well, I mean, I would say it would be in a hostile situation where you have someone maybe robbing a bank or something like that. I was just wondering, why wasn't a marksman sent out in a situation like this? Just seems to be a domestic dispute. Even though with 16 months, why would they send him out?
Right. That's a good question. That's a very good question. A lot of these police officers who become police officers, the majority of them come from military, where they have all different types of weaponry training. They have the discipline. They're deployed to different areas around the world. So they are seasoned to carry heavy equipment, go long distance, know how to survive in various different terrains, you name it. So when they come out of the service, or they've got an honorable discharge out of the service, obviously a lot of them hook up with the police departments because they have the training, and so it's easier for them to adapt to civilian life and start to begin to learn the laws, obviously civil law, as well as self-defense, weaponry, you name it.
So do you think,
and that could be both male or female.
right? So do you think, when it comes to his part, or his accountability as an officer, being that he is a marksman, also being that we see on the video that you shown, that there was a point where he could have diffused things, where he hadn't even pulled out his gun yet, because we just saw that. Would there be repercussions for that alone, and also for the fact, as a marksman, he shot so many times? Would that come up as the issue, and be the only issues when it comes to him having any accountability?
Well, they are going to be checking his credibility in order to determine his accountability. They will pull up his service record from the time he entered the National Guard, what training he's had, what complaints that he may have been written up for, and things of
What
that
they did.
nature. So that's all going to come out.
Well, we didn't get that. We didn't get that on the George case, which I was kind of waiting for on George's case because I have heard a lot of stuff about what Derek Chauvin's past was and what he has been written up for and all those types of things. Even his ex-wife, she had said something about abuse and things like that, but we didn't really get to see that on the trial. And it seems like it was like that would have helped even more with the case of showing this officer's character in the case. They kind of left it out.
I agree. They did go over his record to an extent and to a degree. They really didn't dive into it like I thought they were going to dive into it, only because of the fact they really wanted to sell the length of time that he was on George Floyd, the 9 minutes and 29 seconds, and that alone, in and of itself, we saw what the result was that occurred. Where you kill a man in that fashion, being held down, handcuffed, face down on the ground with two other officers assisting. We all saw that, and just that clip alone said guilty of murder.
Yeah. Well, see, I was thinking that the George Floyd case, the conviction that happened with Derek, it was prominent to a point where it was sending a message to other officers in different states all over the world because they were very specific about training in that particular, city. But it applies I'm thinking it applies everywhere. I know everyone don't have the same training, but because they kind of put a magnifying glass on how training is supposed to be, how they had all of the witnesses on how they do their training, I was hoping that that would give a sign to other police officers and precincts when it comes to just this case all over the world about what are y'all doing with our training? Because they were saying that this is not the training we train them, but don't you think that there definitely has to be people going back to the drawing boards at these precincts when it comes to what they consider training? Because Derek definitely failed his training. He didn't do none of the stuff that they was training him. So I was just hoping that that case shining the light about this police precinct and the training that these officers are getting, does it have an effect on other states when it comes down to police precincts all over the world when it comes down to training? Because the training seems to be the issue all around. Even with this case, the training that this marksman had, is it just to shoot and kill? Is it to defuse? What kind of training are these officers are really getting that it is not coming down to somebody is actually dying behind it? And then we have to go back and forth about how did you get trained? How did your precinct get trained? I mean, I'm just saying, I would think that it would have shed a light on other precincts about how training needs to be done over in a lot of these precincts. What do you think?
I agree. And not only that, Lady Tia, it goes to the police officer's state of mind. When you are in that kind of profession, that kind of field, that kind of career, where you have to carry a gun, where you have to enforce the law, carry equipment you don't normally carry on an everyday personal basis, to enforce the kind of laws that are written in each state, because every state's law is mirrored, but yet slightly different. And I agree with you. Training also for these officers are different. And you get people that are coming out of the military to go into law enforcement. It all goes to states of mind. You know, under that kind of stress, no matter how many hours they work, 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Some are single officers, some are single parent officers, some are married officers that have, you know, large families and things of that nature, and then have to go back out on the street under the high stress of the uncertainty of what their day is going to be like and how many calls they're going to get, how many areas and locations they have to go to, and what these situations unfold and things of that nature. They are under tremendous stress. And so there is medication for that kind of stress. And I wouldn't doubt very much, I would not doubt at all that any of these officers are not on some kind of drug or take antidepressants or take anti-anxiety, same stuff the public takes.
Alcohol,
Alcohol. We know cops in bars, you know, they go there and, you know, they tell each other their war stories and, you know, and they're trying to vent their stresses out amongst their own peers, as well as try to handle it in their family households if they have a family, you know.
Well, you know,
so they are no different than we are when it comes to stress. The only difference is by degree.
But see, my thing is, at this point, if they're dealing with stress and they don't know how their day gonna go or what may happen in putting themselves in the line of fire, we as a Black community feel the same way, and we're not even officers. We fear for our lives when the officers are coming to us. So we on the same level. I don't feel sorry for them because they choose a career that they may be putting their life at risk. Because when my boys, I have 3 boys, when they go outside, I worry if they're going to make it home. And they not police officers. So we are like on the same playing field here when it comes down to the stress of their job. We're stressing that our children are going to make it home because they are so targeted. I think it's no different. I don't think we're in no different situation than them. I don't think they don't have it any harder than them because mothers, grandmothers, fathers, we are out here weeping and crying because we don't know if our children are going to make it home. We're home stressing out and worried if they're going to make it home, and they're not even police officers. We're afraid if they're going to make it home because of a police officer.
Right.
So yeah, I was just making a point of the fact that they may be putting their lives in danger, but our boys and our girls are out here putting their lives in danger just going to the store, just doing regular things. And it's bad because our people are living in fear, and it's just gotta change. If the officer living in fear, well, no, we living in fear. A lot of us are living in fear as well. I fear for my 22-year-old son when he leaves out this house. I don't even be wanting him to get in the car because I'm like, I mean, I don't know what can happen. He can do everything right and still something can happen to him. So I don't want to fearmonger my kids about it because I don't want them to get all rebel on me and start trying to kill everybody, because a lot of times our people are getting fed up and people are starting to want to attack back. And I don't want my sons to be that way, but I'm not going to lie to them. I'm going to tell them how things have to be. It's just it's precautions that has to be made. And we keep seeing that some people are making those precautions. That lieutenant that they maced, he had his hands up with a seatbelt on, and they still was trying to antagonize him in a way where they're like trying to get him to unbuckle his seatbelt. Well, y'all done maced him. Won't y'all unbuckle it? It's like y'all was attempting to see if we get him to get to his seatbelt, we can say we was in fear of our life and shoot him. It's just people are following the rules, and our boys are still living in fear.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And you make some very, very great points, and I'm so glad that that you came back up to share, a critical factor, and I call that a critical factor point. We not only suffer from stress, they suffer also from the same stress. Like I said, even more because of the job that they have to do. And so, yes, we take a look at that, and we can evaluate to say, for ourselves, are the police dangerous? Yeah, they are.
Right.
They are. And do we feel threatened by the police every time we see one or anytime they show up? Yes, we do.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. And that's where the divide is.
it's sad. It's sad.
That's where the divide, that is where the divide is, and that's why I was saying some of the things that could have been diffused is maybe the police shouldn't have been called. Maybe the community, the adults around could have diffused the situation because once the police is called, it's out of everybody's hands. And once they were called, we seen what happened. It don't always happen that way, but look what ended up happening. I'm not saying
Right.
that it never would have been a knife pulled out or whatever, but if the adults around had enough sense to diffuse this regardless. It wouldn't be no police call. That father could have took his daughter on or whatever, whether brought her back the next day, but at least got her out of harm's way where she was going to be jumped. So that was just one way I thought the community had failed in a sense of y'all standing around. Why are we standing around? It's chaos going on. Let's diffuse this. Where are the adults are saying, bring your butt on here. Let's go. We not fit to do this today. Stuff
Right.
like that has to stop to where once we get to the point where now we can't handle it, the police do. Look what ended up happening when the police was called. We have to govern our own communities. I'm sure the people, like the neighbor said, all of these stuff have happened over there and in the neighborhood. I'm sure people knew each other in the neighborhood. What people stood around and wanted to see the fight. That's the problem. We can't want to sit around and see this stuff happen and let it escalate. When a grown man is around, he escalate that stuff. That father, regardless of, I know it was his daughter, but he could have grabbed his daughter and put her on off. Once the sister said we had to call our dad, okay. Once your dad got there, he should have grabbed his daughters and walked off or whatever. It should have been diffused, and the police shouldn't have been called because we are not safe with the police. We don't feel safe with the police.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't, and it's unfortunate. So I mean, maybe
is.
they will look at the video of there was a point when the officer came up that he went over to the right side, not where the girl in the pink was at all. So there was a time in that situation where he could have diffused something to where it even got to Makhia, even getting close enough to the woman in the pink to stab, to be attempting to stab her. So it's just so many things, and I don't know if there'll be credit, if that would be brought up as, oh well, that was an issue or not. But I do think I agree that everybody felt her. With 6 calls being called there or 7 calls being called at that particular house by that young lady, I really wish that she would have been displaced. I wish we knew more about the backstory with her biological father or not being able to get her, because if he was able to come to the house to know where she at, what is he doing in his life to make sure that she was in his home to begin with? So that is just a lot to it, and we just can't blame one person, in my opinion. And that's all I got.
Right. Right. I mean, collectively, yes, we are all responsible for each other,
Right.
and when it comes to situations, especially with this quote unquote blue, this blue culture, it's starting to show up more and more every day. When I say blue, I mean law enforcement. Yeah, and you have a dividing line between what they have to do and how we have to be. You're gonna get division all the time, because they feel that they're on one side of the street and they're responsible for law enforcement. Then you take a look at our side. We're on this side of the street, and we hope we don't get killed by law enforcement.
Yeah, we sure do. And
But
I wanted to say one more thing about the police when it comes to repercussions. There has to be some repercussions to things when stuff like this happen. They need to be losing their pensions. They need to be, being fired and not being able to go to another state 6 months later. There has to be repercussions for us to see difference in the police, because then these police would think twice before they start shooting at people in the back and unarmed people, because they'll be thinking about that pension, because a lot of these officers be looking at it, well, this happened, I'm going to retire early. They still get compensated after taking someone's life, and there's no repercussions for it. And those are two things that I know that officers would think twice about. So I think that should be something that should be put in place. Take these officers' pensions when they commit these murders, because murder is murder. I don't care if you're a police officer, and it's a lot of states that has the license to carry. I have a license to carry, but I'm not a police officer. You come and try to hurt me, I can defend myself.
mm,
But there's
and pri-
repercussions. There have to be repercussions, and officers definitely need to get the repercussions so they won't be so trigger happy.
right, right.
Yeah.
If you see the picture that I have posted on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
it is of Makhia coming down that driveway and now on the sidewalk where the footpath is, where she attacked the first young woman
Mm-hmm.
here. This picture bothered me because if you notice, look where Dad is.
Mm-hmm. Look at where Dad is.
And
Like, what is going on, Dad? That you don't want your daughter to be fighting, and you don't want nobody fighting on your daughter. What are you doing?
And I'm wondering too that the person next to Dad may be the younger sister, Jania or
Maybe.
Janiyah, who
Yeah,
made that
that's what I'm
phone
saying. The standing around watching it. That's the problem. We can't stand around and watch this stuff. I understand that people do have weapons these days, but we can't stand around and watch it and act like it's okay. It's not about bragging rights. Look what happened. Somebody died here. Somebody could have been stabbed here. All types of different things could have happened differently. And look at him. He's kicking, and his daughter over there on the other side. If anything, he should have been over there with his daughter because she got a knife. Grab your daughter. She about to get, if the police didn't come, your daughter about to get a charge. Why would you
Right.
leave her like that? So
Absolutely.
just
And this is where the first line of defense could have taken place, given
with
if the father had given his attention to his daughter and not the
right,
young woman on the ground. That would have
right,
prevented the shooting from escalating even further. Because I don't
right.
believe the cop would have shot at all, knowing that
Because
now there are
maybe
two people, that are in close proximity of each other, and it seems like this person now is trying to de-escalate the situation
right,
where I don't have to use my gun.
right. The officer would have seen the father pulling his daughter out to the street. That's what the officer would have came up on if that father would have grabbed his daughter instead of down here trying to beat up on some girl or whatever. Your daughter over there fighting, it's like some gang mentality. Come on, daughter. Me and you finna get these girls. That's the wrong
Right.
mentality. That is the messed up mentality that is going on in the community. I mean, he straight up stomped this girl, but his daughter
Yeah.
over there fit to lose her life or take someone else's life, and he over here stepping on some girl. He supposed to grab his daughter and moved her out to the street. By the time the police would have got there, the officer would have seen the perp. Who called who? He didn't even know who called who. The officer didn't know who called the police.
Right.
It's just chaos when he came there.
Absolutely. And as we watch the video cam footage, you're talking about 8 to 13 seconds. A lot of this unfolded. It's almost like a bolt of lightning, and then you hear thunder 5
Right.
seconds later. This is the thunder after the bolt of lightning had taken off. And this is what leads me to believe that if they were in the house arguing and getting into physical altercation with each other, I'm trying to say, what would make someone go in the kitchen and grab a knife? A knife. I'm believing that Makhia may have seen one of these young women with a weapon.
Yeah, could have, or she could be a hothead teenagers. We can't we got to keep it real. There's some hothead teenagers out here, but at the end of the day, like you showed that first picture where the father and that lady was standing in that driveway, and Makai was over there with the girl with the black on. That's when the father was supposed to step in. It would never be in a situation with Micaiah over there with the girl in the pink, because
Right.
this happens after they was just over there in that driveway. The father, he fell because he's supposed to have this escalated this and grab the safety of his daughter. If even if to the point where if he grabbed his daughter and all the girls start beating up on him, you supposed to protect your daughter.
Exactly. And once again, in this photo, this is the fatal shooting photo. I studied the surveillance footage to a point to where I wanted to get as close to the first shot point, and this is what the officer was looking at, endangering both these women.
Right.
Endangering both of the females here. One being Makhia, 16, and the other young woman being she could be from 20 to 28 now, being that we read that news report article, which could be incorrect as well. Guess where Daddy is?
Yep, right there. Ain't even trying to stop anything. So, that's why it's some blame to go around. It's definitely some blame to go around. But at the end of the day, Makhia is not she can't
Yeah,
come back. She
yeah,
can't come back.
she can't speak for herself right now.
And I take this case as something we have to look as a Black community as a whole, not just the police officer, because we definitely have our disdain for the police officer. But this situation here is something that we have to look at. And what would we do when we see stuff like this in our community? Where do we come into play to have this stuff not happening, to where our young people are getting killed, to where our young people are fighting older girls and stuff like that? That father, yes, he definitely should feel bad. He definitely should feel bad, because I'm sure he's thinking, dang, if I only would have just went over there, if I only would have whatever. I just don't understand why he was fighting the girls and his
Yeah,
daughter is on the other side. She's on the other side of the car. You on another direction. What are you doing?
right.
Yeah.
And Kay Lovely makes a good point. Yeah, the father should be arrested for assault and battery.
Yeah, he hit the girl, kicked the girl. Not only hit her, kicked her, and stumped her. So yeah, it's a lot. I love my people, but I can't stand in their mess. I am not gonna stand in their mess when they're wrong. And he was wrong. He was wrong. He should have been protecting his daughter.
Yeah.
But I'm here to get some sleep. I'm a little tired. But thank you, John Q, and I love the conversation. I knew you was gonna have some more information than what I was getting, and I appreciate it. So that's why I'm here. I definitely wanted to see what you got, and you always give it to me. So I
I
appreciate
try.
more
I
details.
try. Ever since the Kanika Jenkins case, and now
Yeah,
the Orson and Orrin West case that I've been following, I just look at things and try to be as objective as possible. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. I put myself in their shoes
right,
and let the story unfold to try to figure out as best as I can, because I want to understand it too.
right,
You know, tomorrow is another day. It's not promised. Today is the moment we have, and we have to live it to the fullest. We got to be the best that we can be at all times when God blesses us to open our eyes and take that breath of fresh air and get back out here and do what we're supposed to do, not only for ourselves, but do what we're supposed to do for others as well. Their well-being makes a contribution to our well-being. Our
right,
well-being makes a contribution to their well-being. If people would just stop and take a look at just that, that fine point, a lot of this stuff wouldn't get out of hand. Neighbors
Right.
would come out and break up a fight. Oh, there's yelling and screaming going on there. Hey, what's going on? To try to get their attention to diffuse it. And
Right.
so we don't have to have these kind of situations show up. But the I, me, my mental attitude,
Right.
and that you're black and I'm white, or I'm Hispanic, or I'm Chinese, or
Well, that's
I'm
not my kid.
Somalian, and, I'm different than you are. My car is different than your car. My house is different than your. This differentiality attitude, that's what's got to stop. This is what's got to be changed.
Yep, and that mentality of that's not my child, so it ain't my problem. These are our kids. These are our these are our future. So if we don't look at it like that, it's gonna always be that mentality. Well, it ain't my problem, so it ain't me. But soon as it hit your backyard, you is want everybody to help you. You want everybody
Yeah,
to be on your side. But we got to get out this mentality of, well, it ain't me, so it ain't my problem. We got to stop that.
right. And I hope that this tragic incident that occurred just last week, some very clear and present lessons come out of this, and we as a people, collectively, if we feel anything that happened with this case concerning Makhia Bryant, and giving her any kind of tribute, that we do care, and that we know from our own personal spiritual and physical and mental capabilities, if we have any true concern about what happened to her, then we will wake up and make the changes ourselves, and start to wake up from the matrix, if you will.
Right. Yeah. We was talking about it earlier on another live, and we was talking about what are we doing to be proactive, because it's time to not just talk about this stuff. We have to be active. We have to know who are in these city council meetings. They have them all over out over everybody's city. We just don't show up. I've been to a few of them, and I don't see many of us at all. So we don't even be knowing what's going on in the city. We don't even know what laws are trying to be passed or not being passed. We have to get active. We have to be more proactive so we can know what's going on too.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I truly appreciate you joining the panel, and
Oh,
sharing your thoughts with us and everything. And hopefully this live goes viral.
yeah.
In,
Yeah, we
reg-
need to get the word
in
out.
regards to this particular situation and incident that occurred, because by seeing this happen and continue to happen over and over and over and over again, and within the body of the message, I believe God is trying to wake us up to, because as long as we keep doing what we've done to get here, that produce this result, and do nothing, it will continue.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a turning point. I mean, they pulled the knife a little bit out of our backs with George Floyd's case. A little bit. It's still in our backs. It just
Yeah.
moved up a little bit. But yeah, we got to do some more different things about stuff, and I get that, it's getting rough out here, but we have to start to look at things on both ends of the scope, and not just one sided, and not just jump out there with our opinion and be all wrong. We got to, do our due diligence, and know what's going on around us and what's going on out there before we start pointing fingers. So I'm glad that people like yourself didn't just jump on it, because everybody is just like, police, 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 police. And then we find his whole backstory, that this young lady didn't feel safe in this home. This young police have been called to this home. So it brings up other situations of what is going on in the system, what is going on in these foster homes, what is going on in all different situations. So it wasn't just about the police, it's a little bit deeper than that. But thank you for having me, John Q. Anytime, I'll always come and participate.
Well, you got much love from me,
Oh,
always.
All right. You have a great night.
All right, you too.
Okay.
All right. And that is, some very positive points that Miss Lady Tia, brought up. Vanessa, come on up here. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been in the chat room moderating. You always do a good job. I'd love to hear, your thoughts and comments on this. That's why I came out. Wanted to make the live for you guys. Miss K Lovely, you can join too. Because if you have something to share, and the majority, obviously, in the chat tonight are women of fine intelligence. They may be single parents with children and can see from a perspective of this particular incident, what they feel and have to deal with. There's a stress level we all have. How we use it, how we cope with it, how we manage it is very important because of this particular situation. We could see that there was a very, very high level of stress, with all parties involved, including the whole neighborhood. The whole neighborhood. So it's and have a nice evening and a good night, Miss Lady Tia. Thank you so much for moderating tonight and joining us on the panel. But I'd like to get the real Brooklyn up here. People nowadays mind their business. They do not want to interfere. See, this is not back in the day when we were growing up and neighbors looked after other neighbors' kids. Yeah, real Brooklyn. That's right. Cops used to walk the streets, not just ride in patrol cars. They used to physically walk the streets when they used to carry sticks and a 38 revolver, a pair of handcuffs, 2 pouches of bullets, maybe a key ring, key chain, possibly some mace. But they used to walk the physical streets and interact with the neighborhood, with the community. They knew where you lived. They knew where you worked. You could talk to them. They could talk to you. No friction, no negative vibes of any kind or any sort until, years later, shortly thereafter, we start seeing our police officers become militarized. Automatic weapons hit the streets of neighborhoods, Chicago, California, Texas, Philadelphia, New York, down south in North Carolina, Georgia, and so on, and so on, and so on. So how did the police meet that challenge to know that there were automatic weapons on the streets? Well, they came back with their automatic weapons and their bulletproof vests and helmets and tasers and all kinds of gizmos and gadgets, turning them into what was that movie a long time ago with John Claude? Universal Soldiers, high tech, RoboCops. Oh, you're trying to put your grandson to sleep? Okay, lovely, no problem. See? That's what we do. That's what we do. I think I may have had. G Money, you can come up here. Say a few words. Y'all got me working hard tonight. John Q's platform. I don't want to go up there. Yeah, you can. Let's see. Did I want to show that? No, I did that. I think I'll do one more piece. And let's see if I can. Just bear with me. Give me a second because I got to come back in another window. But yeah, y'all can join me on the panel and express your thoughts. Trying to get back to the library here where I had it. Google's got me doing too much. Too much. Because there was one piece I think I wanted to also include in tonight's live, also as a very important piece. What was it? Where was it? Y'all just bear with me a moment. Got to do the search stuff. I lived next to the police station growing up, and I knew all the cops. Yep, me too. Girl in pink has her leg up. I don't think Makhia could have reached her to kill her because she did not cut the other girl when she pushed her down. I don't think she was going to hurt that girl. Vanessa Jones. G-Money's driving right now. Pay attention to the road, G-Money. I don't want anything to happen to you. I hope that put a smile on your face because I'm talking about you. That's right. Be safe. Definitely be safe. Playlist. That's where I want to go. And it always seems that whenever I go live, and I got my computer plugged directly, my internet service is plugged directly into my computer. I have an Ethernet cord, and she still drags a little bit. Let me see what I wanted to. Do here. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to bring up the actual file itself. Okay. I eventually get here. I may be a little bit slow, but I eventually get here. I'm looking for that news article I actually wanted to share. Because this particular, okay, I think I found it. Okay, this particular.
These grown girls over here trying to fight us, trying to stop us, trying to put her hands on our grandma. Get here now.
See if I can get this here. Because that 911 call is the critical call.
Former HUD secretary and founder and chairman of the American Cornerstone Institute. Good to have you with us today, Dr. Carson. There was an interesting moment, with regard to this other shooting that we.
No, we don't want that one. Okay. Let me come back. Where was I? Oh, great. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. And if not, let me see. Because I definitely wanted to share this.
We got these grown girls over here trying to fight us, trying to stop us, trying to put our hands on our grandma. Get here now.
I don't know if y'all can hear that in the background. All right. Okay, let me see. Playlist. That's not it. Oh, there it is. Okay. No, that's not it.
Policymakers driving an
No, that's not it. Shut up. Shut up. I'm getting there, folks. I'm getting there. Oh, man, this is too much. Let me go back to my channel. Yeah, G Money, I'll come up when I'm done if you're still live. Okay. Okay. No worries. I'm talking to Siri. I promise I'm not texting and driving. LOL. Okay. Yeah, you better not text. How do people do that? How do people do that? Okay. Okay. Yeah, prevention. That's what I want to know. How could this have been prevented? How many points of prevention can we identify? The main point of prevention was Daddy. Second point of prevention, the neighborhood. Third point of prevention, the police officer himself. He never gave Makhia a serious, fair warning to drop her weapon before he took action. So that was a failure on his part. Saying the word get down, or hey, is not telling someone what to do. And not being specific in telling someone what to do when their back is turned. Get down. He should have yelled, drop your weapon, drop the knife. That line of thinking works, especially in a lethal situation such as what took place. But here is a critical area, which all made, or well, what I would call is the point of origin. A shout out to the channel holder that put this up here. But I wanted you to see the words for yourself. Okay, can you all see those words? Sorry about that. Let me come back here for a quick second. See if you can see it from this point. And hopefully you can see those words. The exact specific words that the caller used. Hopefully you can see it just above the banner. We got these grown girls over here trying to fight us. Grown girls was identified in this call. Trying to stab us. Now we have grown girls over here trying to stab us. Trying to put their hands on our grandma. That is the point that is confusing me, because whose grandma? Not mother. Not foster mother or foster parent. This is a specific, precise word identifying a person, grandma. Was she talking about someone else, or was she talking about the foster parent? Because we know the foster parent was at work. So who's grandma? Y'all pick up on that? Who's grandma? Who was she talking about? Did she just say that to make it appear or seem to appear to the police dispatcher who dispatched this call to the officer that someone weak or frailed was also being attacked? You see what I'm saying? So there are many elements to what started this. And the point of origin that started this is this call right here. Get here now. Because the second call came from someone that was calling for police, but then saw the police show up. So someone knew the police arrived. I believe they, to some degree, a good majority of them saw that car pull up and knew the police arrived. And I say to myself, if they know the police arrived, why didn't they act accordingly? Why didn't they act accordingly? Why did Makhia all of a sudden jump to try to assault that young woman? This is my mama's house. I live here. I'm going to stab the F out of you. And then the altercation. So I'm thinking that the police officer thought that this was one of the women, grown girls, that had a knife that was threatening to stab them. A misinterpretation of the police call, perhaps, maybe. Did anybody look for grandma after the altercation and incident finished? Just things to keep your eyes on, folks, because all of this is going to come straight out of the CBI, which is the Crime Investigation Bureau, and their reports. And we need to lay eyes on every single word of that report when it comes out, and how they're going to describe precisely and exactly what ignited this to happen. How could they not see the police? Police was already there before. The officer got there that shot the fatal shot. Yeah, that's in broad daylight. But I wanted you to see the words that went to dispatch on this 911 call. Because every piece of information is just ever so critical for us to look at in this case. And the mother, obviously, Paula Bryant. So I'm assuming that daddy's name is also Bryant. Mr. Bryant, who did nothing, who failed his daughter, who did not protect her, especially in a critical moment pertaining to her life. Because it just seems as though this officer went there, saw a commotion, it got hot quick, he had to draw his weapon, and the next thing you know, he shot 4 times. He shot 4 times and killed someone. That's it. That's the quick clip. But Mama here, my questions, as I mentioned in my last live, why was Makhia Bryant at that foster care home? Why was she there? Mother of 5 children, now missing 1. Why was Makhia there? Why were her sisters there? Those are the questions I have for her. And this is going to live with them for the rest of their life. That's the sad part. It's going to be with them for the rest of their life. But we'll see how the story unfolds, though. We'll see the rest of it. I'm waiting with deep anticipation. Deep anticipation. We'll get those answers. And when they do become available, you know I'll be back. You know I will be back. So nobody else wants to come up? Y'all had some great information tonight. I thank you for sharing and your insight and your perspective on this case, because it all goes to educate and help us to know what's going on out there in the streets at any given time. At any given time. Marlon Hammonds is the father's name. Tequila. Marlon Hammonds? Where did you get that information? What's the source of that information? Was it a news article? Please share that. Marlon Hammonds. And yes, excessive force still on the part of the police officer, yes. Tequila, if you'd like to come up, I can drop the link. If you'd like to just tell us where you got that information from, so we can all, I guess, follow up on it. Because that's what tonight's live is all about. You coming up and sharing your thoughts. You don't have to worry about, trying to sound all politically correct and perfect and whatnot. I stumble on my words too. Marlon Hammonds. Where did you get that from? And is Marlon Hammonds on Facebook? People look that name up. That would be a great place to start. See if there's any pictures of him and Makhia together. What the family was like, maybe, before this incident. Myron Hammonds. Myron Hammonds. Takiwa, tell us where you got that information from, dear. Oh, give me a sec. Okay. Like I said, I dropped the link. You can come up and talk with me. Talk to our small little chat. We only got about close to 20 people up in here, give or take. Myron Hammonds. And we already know who the other two young women's names are. One of them that Makhia had attacked, the first one was Craig Watkins. And the other one was, I think it was Tania Bonner. So at least we have names on them. And now so far it appears as though we may have the name of the biological father. We know Paula Bryant is the biological mother. Angela Moore was the foster care mother. Identification is important in this case. Jania being, I guess, the 15-year-old younger sister who possibly may have made that 911 call. Why she used grandma is one of my main questions. They all saw the police. Grandma was there. She was next to the father. Many blogs reported, also his Facebook. And he does have a Facebook. He does have a Facebook. I'm wondering if it's still up or whether he had taken it down. Research that, folks. The more we know about him and who he is associated with, the more we'll learn and understand why he is who he is. Let's see if I can back over. I think it's easy for those that are not officers to say what he should do, what he should not have done in 11 seconds. But most of us are not experienced. I would give you that to a degree. Takiwa, I would give you that in 11 seconds. But most of us are not experienced. Welcome.
Hello.
I would give you that. How you doing? To a degree.
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I've been following this very closely.
Okay. And could you share with us, as much as you can, what you've been able to learn? Take your time. I know, because you cleared your throat like I did when I first went live. Let me see if I can put this in perspective and, get myself together here,
I watched a video, Turtle Boy Sports is the blogger.
Okay.
And he has a blog. That's where I found the father's name. And he does have a Facebook, but it doesn't look very active. But there's a post with his name tagged sending their condolences. And what else? I can share. Well, I don't know if I can.
I was just about to say, if you could share that with us, that would be great. We're just waiting for Takiwa to come back. Maybe she can share that any information on a Myron Hammonds with us. Give us a better idea as to what may be on that Facebook page.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It happened to me tonight. I got popped out of here and I had to come back on.
I was trying to see if I could look at the blog while I was talking to you, but guess not.
All right. Okay.
He has a very lengthy criminal background. He did a background check on the mother too. She has some
on Paula Bryant.
Yeah.
Okay.
She has some domestic violence charges from some years back.
Is he tied to those domestic violence situations as well?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
There are pictures of Myron on the blog.
Okay.
I also found this video on YouTube of the second officer's full body cam.
All right.
And I wish there was a way I could send that to you.
I'm gonna see if I can help you to help us. I'm gonna go back to screen share here for a second. I want to pull up most likely a picture I was able to get and find of him and share it with the room again. And you can tell me if that's the same picture. See if I can open this up. Oh. And it's coming up. Is that him?
Yeah, it looks like him. And that's actually a picture of that video, from that video.
Right.
Have you seen that video?
Can you see him a little bit better now?
Uh-huh. It does look like him.
Yeah. Same hair?
His hair is longer here.
Because this was caught. Yeah, because this was caught from the one of the second responding officer's body cam as he was sealing off the crime scene area.
Yep. And he asked him. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, dear. No. You're on point. Go ahead.
He asked him if he was a witness. And he said that he was Makhia's dad, but he acted like he didn't see anything.
Wonder
but
why.
That's in the full video.
Right. Yeah, because on Sunday I was able to play all of what I could on the video that I was able to get, and the second video I wasn't able to play of the actual taping off of the crime scene, but I was able to review it. And as he stepped up to this guy in the gray, I wanted to make sure that I got a good screenshot of it so I could present it into the live.
Right.
Yeah. This guy is definitely not good. But you said he had a criminal background involving domestic disputes.
The mom has domestic disputes.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, take your time. Myron Hammonds, huh? The dad who failed his daughter.
So the YouTuber Mega 5 Stars,
Okay.
that's where the video is of the body cam.
Okay, Mega 5 Stars. Okay.
Uh-huh. Mega, the number 5, and stars. And it's like 27 minutes long.
Correct. Right.
And
I
then,
had the same video. Okay.
and when he swings back around, like before, I believe before you get up close to Myron, when he swings back around, that's when you see her grandma.
Okay. Well, just bear with me 1 second. Let's see.
Because grandma was standing with him by the car.
Let me see if I can possibly find it on my playlist. I think I had it on my playlist. I truly appreciate you coming on the live with me to tell us that.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, when you do kind of research like this, you've got to have the time and the patience to get through a lot of the different pieces of information that are out there. Okay, which ones do I have? 27. Okay. 27. 27. 27. Another police officer's body cam video of Makhia Bryant shooting. Maybe you can tell me that I have the correct video too.
I think you do.
Because I remember one of the officers roping off.
All right, guys. Man, get out of the tip. Right now. Get out of the tip right now.
Couple more cars to keep the freeze. More cars for crowd control.
You are out here, right? You are out here. Okay, come with me. You want to get to the
See, that's her. That's her.
That's the grandmother.
You saw her with the white t-shirt on? If you rewind, like,
Yeah, a couple of seconds. I'm gonna see if I can catch it.
You are out here, right? You are out here. Okay, come with me.
That's her.
yep. Remember, she was standing in
Uh-huh.
front of the car with him earlier. I think somebody
Okay.
said that they thought that she was one of the sisters. That's grandma.
Hmm.
I believe that is grandma.
Okay, so this is this Paula Bryant's mother or is this his mother?
I'm not sure.
Uh-huh. Why didn't she stop it? Where was she? Was she in the house
She was-
when?
Nope.
Yeah.
She was standing in
Wow.
front of that Volkswagen. She was standing in front.
Okay. Okay. When they first arrived, I guess. When
Yeah.
when Daddy first arrived, most likely when they were outside. Okay.
Because you remember after the shooting, she was like, "Is she shot?"
Right.
Do you remember? That's her.
Hmm. Okay.
Hey, Foster. Witness.
He grabbed her as a witness.
Yeah.
Sir, get out, please.
But you see,
went- you went-
Myron has a warrant out.
Myron has a
See?
warrant out. Oh,
He has a warrant out.
No wonder he acted like he didn't see anything then.
Yep.
Came out of the house, right?
He said, "That's my daughter." Yep.
Sir. Another black light. You get black lives matter now? Then get in there. Right now you're beating us. Right? Let us do our job. My grandfather is a police officer. Get out of the case for me, okay? Get out of the case. That's not right, man. That's not right. Keep going that way, please.
Out there, just close it off right there. Not sure the next property or location here.
Yeah. You were out here, right? You see everything?
No, I said that.
Now these are the neighbors that must have been across the street because they didn't appear to. I don't recognize anyone to have appeared to have been in that driveway.
Yeah. They
Okay.
are. I think one of them is related to the guy with the white on from across the street
Right.
that was screaming in the middle of the street.
Right.
Yep.
I just came out here.
Oh, okay. I think that's the witness. That lady also, that girl with the phone was a witness, but I don't know how old she is.
See, this officer missed the kick. So I don't think he saw her dad out there. 'Cause
Right.
he was right behind that officer that shot.
Yeah, he's in the cruiser. 140. All right.
But that's pretty much it.
Okay. Tequila, thank you very much for that piece of vital information that, it helps to connect the dots and the pieces a whole lot better.
This is a crazy, unfortunate series of events for sure.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that if he told them that, that was his girl or whatever have you, but said nothing about seeing anything, you can just imagine how desperately he wanted to leave that situation without any further identifying himself,
Yeah. But I'm sure that, thank God for these body cams.
Yeah, most certainly. We would not know a thing. It would just be another story written by the media to mislead everybody into believing the narratives that they put out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you're not from Columbus, Ohio.
No, I live in
Okay.
Atlanta.
Oh,
I live
okay.
in Atlanta,
I'm in New
and
York.
when it hit the news, I was just kind of like, because I think we're so conditioned to following this narrative, and the outrage and everything. And you're like, not again.
Right.
And then when I started looking at it, I was like, wait a minute. This is not quite the same thing. So,
Right.
but I definitely feel like I hate to say it, but her family and the foster system failed her.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Well, from what you've seen and what you've captured, can you share with us any prevention points you saw from the body cam footage?
You mean as far as the officer?
As far as the whole situation, what do you think could have prevented this whole situation from escalating to the point where the officer had to shoot Makhia?
Having parents with some sense.
Mm-hmm.
Having parents that, I know my dad in a situation like that, my dad would have been like, get in the car, we're leaving.
That's funny. That's the first thought I had in my mind.
It wouldn't have been no like we fighting in driveways and getting knives and stuff like that. I was like, no, we're leaving.
Right.
Or like, what are you doing?
Or get in the house.
Right. Get your butt in the house. It's just for her, the fact that she felt she needed to do all of that.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. It is. Because I know that she felt pretty much alone by herself. I'm going to have to handle this my way.
Yeah.
Kind of feeling that went through her mind as things began to unfold. But I still had that question whether one of these young women or both of them had weapons of some kind that triggered Makhia to go get one herself.
I don't know. I'm assuming it all come out, but
yeah. And was it just two of them that were confronting her? Could there have been?
Who was the young lady with the black on?
The young lady with the black on, from what area?
That was standing next to the girl with the pink before it all hit the fan.
Right, the one that was standing next to her in the street near the car.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I brought that up.
Nobody's talked about her.
Yeah, was
at
she?
all.
Yeah, was she a part of that altercation as well?
Right. No one has talked about her at all.
Mm. All that for a birthday party. All that
So,
for wow.
so the foster mom says, I don't know what to believe about that.
Yeah, because she didn't give any further details at all, or whether that was released to the press or not, in regards to why those two women were there.
Right.
Because I covered an article tonight that identified the names of those women.
I saw that article.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I wanted to know who they were, what their ages were, and perhaps the reasons why they were there in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I've heard that the foster mother, I've heard conflicting stories about that. Like one story I heard was that the foster mother was basically having them, because they're former foster kids of hers,
Right.
and she was basically like having them get on her, basically, or bully her. Like, you better get her together, you know, that kind of thing, for whatever reason. So, and I don't know if you saw the times that the police had been called to the house.
Yeah, we discussed that that part earlier in tonight's live, and a portion of it in my previous live on Sunday.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if the birthday party is a story. I don't know.
Right.
But she doesn't sound like she needs to be a foster parent.
Oh, most certainly. I would agree right there, you know, to have all this commotion, and it just doesn't seem like it was just this time. It seemed like there was a number of times that this particular confrontation had occurred with Makhia and these women
Right.
previous to this. And, you know, a lot could have been done. I'm looking at prevention points, you know, and we're starting to get a list of the various different ways this could have been avoided.
Right.
That's the point of tonight's live, you know, predominantly, and to have people come up and voice their thoughts. You know, you just gave us some great information tonight that you know, you shared with us, that we can, you know, had now taken a look at, that wasn't incorporated in my first live. And I thank you very much for that.
Oh, you're welcome. I just,
because I
it's
was
just
looking
sad
for
that this
grandma.
happened. I mean, it's just really sad because it's like, you know, people want to say like the cop should have did this, the cop should have did that, you know, but like, I'm not a cop. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what that's like. I don't know, like, oh, he should have shot her in the arm. Like, it doesn't work like that. So we all have to like educate ourselves to know what we're dealing with when we do call the police, to know how to behave when we are around the police, because the police aren't there to raise kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they don't, all they know is what they're walking into, you know? And if it's a threat, a lethal threat, they meet that with force. That's what they do. Their job isn't to de-escalate. That's not their, legally, that's not their job.
Right. Right. And I could see, as I stated before, if Makhia was approaching the police officer, you know, face to face, a frontal attack, I can understand the officer shooting her 4 times to stop her, because now his life is in danger.
Right.
What I couldn't understand was, you know, he had discretion of his own weapon with her back toward him. He could have
Yeah.
said, let me pop off one shot and see if this drops, or if not, I have an automatic, so I can, click it another time and another time until she stops or goes down or drops the knife or whatever. So that's a critical area where I believe the police officer, used excessive discretion in this case.
I've also been looking at a lot of videos about like similar situations, whether the person is white, black, whatever. I don't know
Okay.
if there's a set rule. You know what I mean? I've seen some cops shoot 7 times, some twice, some, I saw this video of this white lady in a hotel. She has scissors. So she's behind the counter at this hotel, threatening the cop with scissors, threatening to stab the cop. The cop is like, put the scissors down, put the scissors down. She's talking crazy. She comes around the counter like, I'm going to stab you with these scissors. Pop, pop.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
And once again, it goes back to state of mind. When your life is threatened and you have a deadly weapon that you could use at your discretion and at any time, how far will you use your discretionary powers? And that's going to play a big factor when this thing goes to trial, because that is one of the points of contention. Did he have to shoot her 4 times in the back?
Yeah.
Where you have conflicting stories from other articles and other media sources that she was shot in the chest.
Now you can look at the video and tell she wasn't shot in the chest. And then maybe it was 4 times because of how close she was to the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like say she was at the distance she was at, and then she was coming at the officer. Then maybe 2 shots because she's at a distance, the proximity. But she was right up on that girl.
Right.
It's just hard to say.
Yeah, it is, because it has so many moving parts.
Yeah.
So many moving parts in this. And Boss Blake is in the chat room, and he's absolutely right. It's about preserving life. That is their job.
Yeah.
And I absolutely agree with your point regarding de-escalation. They're there to de-escalate and get back control, a calmness.
Mm-hmm. If they can, but their number one priority is to protect. And in this case, he was protecting the girl in the pink. And it's crazy because we can always say like, what if, but he could have,
Yeah.
So what if she did stab her and kill her? Then what would we be saying? He didn't do anything. Why he ain't do nothing?
Yeah. This is going to play out in a way to where, we're all going to keep our eyes on it, just as we are beginning to learn of Andrew Brown Jr.'s situation as well. We're going to keep our eyes on that, and then see the comparisons of the situations. Are these cops killing with intent?
I mean, they're definitely using lethal force.
Yes, they are.
And I read something too. I forgot where I read this, but did I watch this? Either or, from a former officer. Legally, that's the amount of force that they're supposed to use legally. So when we say like he could have shot her in the leg or something like that, legally they can't do that. That's called, maiming. They can't maim. Like they can't shoot you to try to hurt you. For some reason, I don't know if legalities wise, For some reason, they can't do that.
Mm,
Not intentionally.
right.
They have to aim at center mass.
You see, but you bringing that point up right now would be a factor of de-escalation, or a part that could be used to de-escalate that type of situation, where they wouldn't have to, shoot to kill, so to speak, to take someone's life, where they could shoot them in the leg, shoot them in the arm. I brought that up in my last live too. I said, he could have shot her in the butt.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with legalities, lawsuits and stuff.
Mm. Well, they most certainly have to change something in their policy book when it comes to using lethal force. Most certainly. So I truly appreciate you coming up and sharing that with us.
Awesome.
I hope this won't be the last time you join us either.
It's my second time tuning in, so
okay.
You'll see more of me.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. That I take that as a compliment. It seems like I try to go live and try to give my best information, objective facts, try to get to the root of the story, and always look at prevention, as one of the major components to it, because it shouldn't be happening at all.
Definitely. And we can't problem solve things like this without having facts and using logic, because I know it's very emotional, it's very triggering. It's sad. Somebody wanted to see this 16-year-old girl get shot and killed. It's heartbreaking. But if things are going to change, we have to look at what happened? What are the facts?
Right.
And go from there.
And learn from there and do better from there, and make sure that we're using everything in our power to prevent something like this from happening again, especially to our children.
Yeah.
Because nowadays in our society, the 21st century, with social media and instant coffee and instant this and instant that, instant gratification, if you will, to everything, nothing is looked upon for understanding, but everything is looked upon more so to, like you said, to draw emotions. It's emotional thinking versus critical thinking, logical thinking that's going on.
Yep. We got to do right by our kids. That's the core of it, I believe. I just couldn't believe what is going on between mama, daddy, auntie yelling in the middle of the street, and grandma, and none of y'all can take care of these girls? That she has to go to a foster home?
Yeah, then something major is going on in that circle of influence.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Because if something happens, they look first to relatives, right?
Right.
Who can take care of Makhia? Can auntie? You mean auntie and grandma can't do it either?
Mm-hmm.
And all of y'all live around the corner? It's crazy. But I got to take my dog out.
Okay. But once again, thank you for jumping up on the panel and sharing your thoughts and insights, which are very valuable to this case and everything. And most definitely peace and love to you. And I hope to see you again.
Yes, I'll pop back in soon.
Okay.
All right.
All right. This has been a very interesting live, I must say. And I like to do these lives to interact with with everyone because I value everyone else's perspective, especially when it comes to critical cases like this. Boss Blake has been an absolute valuable part of my education in this case because his perspective and his perception as to what he's looking for pretty much coincides with mine. We take a look at something together, and we're looking for the cause. We know the results because that's what we end up getting first is the results. But we work very diligently to find out what caused this, and then what preventive measures could have been instilled in these situations, and to get them on the table, let everybody see them. This way, we're educated to say, if I ever come across a situation like this, well, here's something I can do to prevent anything from going forward, anything from escalating, anything from getting way out of hand, where people have to defend themselves with knives and guns. And obviously somebody's going to get hurt whenever you have a weapon that's involved in these situations. So, and Boss Blake knows I dig hard because I not only try to search for the truth, I want some answers that would give us education. That way we can pick this up and walk into the future with something better than the thing we left. Because that's what helps. Cynthia Sin, where you been? Welcome. And it's hard because as a content creator, I think I'm going on my fourth year, I think. And digging in the Kanika Jenkins case and working with that for almost a year and a half, 2 years, creating and building content to present regarding the 19-year-old that was found dead in a kitchen freezer in one of the major hotels out in Chicago. And now taking a look at a missing persons case with Orrin and Orson West, Classic and Sincere, ages 3 and 4, that went missing in December of 2020. And then you come across Ahmaud Arbery's case. You come across Dante Wright's case, accidental shooting of a 20-year-old that was just pulled over for a traffic violation, only to find out that there was a warrant for his arrest. And then that situation went left. And how does a veteran police officer with over 20 years experience not know she is pulling a firearm rather than a taser? Yet she says taser, taser, taser in her video cam. So I'm sure she's got a lot to live with there. She's up on manslaughter charges. It's another one. We already know what happened to Derek Chauvin in his case. And that case is going to linger a bit. That case is going to go through an appellate court process. The defense attorney is going to use information available to try to strike down a lot of what was said pertaining to the medical examiner's office and pertaining to outside influences that may have influenced that jury to give the verdict that they did. And I still question the second degree murder charge. The manslaughter charge, hands down, he got it. But when you're talking about second degree, you're talking about something with intent. And I really didn't see a whole lot of evidence in regards to intent. He intended to kill George Floyd, with that kind of passion. It could have been accidental. He didn't get off George Floyd when he should have, which accidentally killed him under the influence of all the stuff that we've learned was in his system. Andrew Brown Jr., that information is coming out. And why they're holding up the police cam footage on that, soon as we see it, we will know why. Because if it's that raw, like Makhia Bryant's video cam footage is, folks, we're in for quite a ride, an emotional roller coaster, if you will, over the spring and summer of this year. Because all of these are being stacked to stack, back to back. And they're coming at us like the speed of light. We don't know what we're going to hear tomorrow about another story hitting the fan too. So yeah, we're getting into, we live in some very interesting times. Most certainly. Real Brooklyn says, where was the foster mother? According to the story, if you're talking about the Makhia Bryant case, she was at work during the time the incident occurred. She was at work. But other than that, folks, I think I'm going to wrap up tonight's live. I will be following up on this case as well as the Orson and Orrin West classic and sincere case. Number of other things I'm working on as well, but I take my time. I don't jump on it as soon as it comes out 2 minutes ago. I take my time and get a handle on what I'd like to present in terms of educating the people that follow me on my channel, to give them some good insights, some good info that they can, use, not just to listen for 2 and 3 hours and then we'll go to the next channel and the next channel and the next channel. But something that you can use, walk away with to say, I'll keep my eyes and ears open. John Q, he put it out there. And it's always good to have folks like Boss Blake working his channel and putting it out there just as good, if not better. If not better. He got more technology than I do. I move my hands and work my keyboards like I'm old school. He has the equipment to give you great sound, the clearest pictures that you could see, the best music that I've heard on YouTube thus far. And so I'm happy to say that, he's a close brother of mine, and, we're good friends, and we click and we stick, and just like a lot of you who join me in the chat, we click and we stick. We know what we're looking for. We know where to get it. We know who can deliver it, and deliver it in a way to where you can walk away with something positive. Most certainly. Oh, you laughing over there, Boss Blake? Oh, not really. Yes, you do. You got better stuff than I do. For sure, for sure. But I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And thank you for your insight. I've learned from you. Hopefully you've learned some stuff from us here tonight. And that's what we can do. As long as we have our media platforms, we can share it in a way that we can give something to someone in reference for them to implement it in their life and use it. We're not just sitting around talking about certain things. We're putting in the work, and so are you. But with that said, much love to all of you. Take care, stay well, be aware, stay vigilant, stay focused. More is yet to come. Be well and stay blessed with God's speed. Thank you for coming out. Until next time. Peace.